This is WRUU-LP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings, community radio with global soul.
Broadcast from the heart of downtown Savannah's historic district, a show designed to inform the listener about important social, political, and cultural issues that shape Savannah, as well as about opportunities to experience things in and around this beautiful city that might bring an added measure of grace and joy to your life. And we are here every Tuesday and Thursday. We're now on our new schedule. We used to be every Wednesday at 9. Now we're Tuesday and Thursdays from 8 to 9 in the morning. And we are right after Savannah Rising, the new version of Savannah Rising, which is from 7 to 8. And that's where you were hearing those tasty blues from Stevie Ray Vaughan and Albert King that you were just hearing. So Savannah Lexicon, we are happy to have you listening this morning. And this morning I'm pleased to have with us Leslie Etherly, the Director of Development for Savannah Center for Blind and Low Vision, and Chris Poulos, a graduate of the Savannah Center for Blind and Low Vision programs.
Mm-hmm. Good morning.
Good morning, Wayne.
Good morning to both of you. I'm so glad you're here. And hopefully everything's good out there. You got in with no problem.
Everything's good.
Okay. I just wanted to talk about the Savannah Center for Blind and Low Vision. Of course, it's a great asset for this community, and you guys do a lot of good work. I wanted to make sure that as many people know about it as possible, so I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about it. I certainly did not know as much about it before I did a little research to get ready for this. And I see that you guys provide service in 29 counties of southeast Georgia. Is that correct?
That is correct.
That's amazing. I mean, I had no idea. I thought it was just Savannah, basically, but you're 29 counties. That's a lot. Offered either in the home or at the center.
Right. If for those folks that cannot make it to Savannah, we will go to their homes.
That's nice. That's very good. I had no idea about that either. How long has the center been here? It's been here a long time, right?
1963.
Wow.
Yeah, I was surprised. I've only been with the center for 3 years.
Okay.
3 years in August. I'm new to Savannah.
Oh.
Originally from Tennessee.
We're in Tennessee, if I may ask.
Middle Tennessee.
Okay, because I used to live in Knoxville.
Yeah. So I came from Middle Tennessee, and then whenever I found out about the organization and interviewed for this position, I would have never guessed that they had been around as long as they have.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah, and so it's just a little small nonprofit. We're growing, have grown a lot over the last 3 years. We see anywhere from 250 to 350 clients per year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so our age groups are not only adult.
Yeah.
We also do children. So we have dually certified therapists that go out to the schools to work with children.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
And it's also interesting. It is for the blind and low vision.
Right.
So you work with. I know a lot of, for one thing, a lot of aging folks get some vision problems that is not literally blindness, but is certainly an issue, and you guys work with them as well.
Right. We want them to be able to benefit from the vision that they have remaining.
Okay.
You know, whether their goals are to just, read their Bible or read a book, or, just whatever their goals may be. They may just need some type of visual aids. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I liked the sort of little kind of, I guess, mission statement or what have you. You put that Savannah CBLV, which is Center for Blind and Low Vision, offers programs and services that promote independence and dignity for people who are vision impaired or blind, their family, friends, and the community. So it's not just about the one thing. You're trying to deal with all of these issues really that are related, but affect different people in different ways.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And when someone loses their vision, it doesn't only affect that person.
Right.
It goes, through the entire family. And Christopher, that's why I thought it would be important for him to come today, because, Christopher's very independent, has always been very independent, and due to his vision impairment that he has now, it changes their lives a lot.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I'm very glad you're here, Chris. That was a very good idea.
And I appreciate you having me here today.
Sure. That was, I was glad that Leslie brought up that idea because of bringing you in, because that you obviously have a perspective.
I do. I actually started losing my vision and was diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosus, which is the eye disease that I do have, and it affects the rods and cones of your eye. Mm-hmm. And it's a degenerative disease that will eventually lead to total blindness. Right now, I'm technically what would be classified as low vision. I actually worked for Bass Pro Shop for 11 years until my vision got to the point where I couldn't do that job anymore. And it does affect you, because when you're so used to, I'll jump in the car, go here, do this, do that, and you can no longer do that, then you have to change the mindset, relearn different things that you take for granted, basic, like how to use a microwave. Things that you have to go, okay, here are aids to help you to be able to do that. And that was what I actually got from the center, is different things like that, different computer programs, different techniques to use. And it's interesting, I actually had a friend of mine come to our graduation, and we actually put her through a to simulate some of the conditions that I see. And it was just so funny that she's a computer person and couldn't hardly find the keyboard.
Wow. Well, I actually did something like this once upon a time years ago when for an article I wrote. I do feature articles and travel writing and various things, but I one day I spent with a blind student at Georgia Southern University and blindfolded myself and really blindfolded myself.
Right.
It would have been easy to cheat, and I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to completely, really cover. So I had myself, I couldn't see a thing. And, man, what an experience.
World, isn't it?
Now, obviously, I don't think for a moment that gives me the actual perspective of a blind person, but it does, in fact, teach you. My goodness, you just because my biggest problem during the whole thing, although there were plenty, was because I followed him. What I did is I followed him around campus all day, and with a makeshift cane. And first off, I had seen him before walking on campus, and he was just booking it. Because he knows the campus so well, and he knows how to use the cane so well that, me, meanwhile, I'm like, wait, and as big a problem as anything for me was eating.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
I had, and it never occurred to me that was going to be an issue. But we went to lunch, and it was a serious challenge. But anyway. Tell us a little bit more, Chris, or either one of you, about sort of you were mentioning, and you did mention the kinds of skills that you learned there, and tell us a little bit about how that works. I'm assuming that was mostly at the center.
It was. I actually went to the center for between 3 and 4 days a week for about 5 months, and I actually, I had gotten a cane ahead of time, because it's interesting when you go out with people and you don't have a cane and you have low vision, because then it's like you lose people in a crowd and people look at you like, what is wrong with this person? Well, a cane actually gives people an idea, hey, this person has a vision loss.
Right.
But I got training in mobility and orientation, little things that you don't think about, like, okay, which way is east and west? Well, late in the afternoon, I've got the sun on my back, so that's west.
Yeah, yeah.
Little things like that you don't pick up on. Like I said, things around the house, how to identify money, different apps that you can use to help with different things like that. There's an app that they have called iNote that actually it reads and tells you what denomination your bills are. And so if you want to fold them specific ways so it makes it easier for, like with me, that's what I do, so I can identify my bills in my wallet.
Just by touch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Different things like that. Like I said with the microwave. When you're trying to find on a flat microwave the buttons for the timer and things, they help me get some tactile devices so I can put different tactile buttons on there.
Okay.
So I know, okay, that's an odd number. I can find the buttons that I need.
Right.
I learned some basic Braille.
Okay.
Because now, and I will say, if I wanted to, I could learn more and actually learn to read it. But I'm an older person. I'm in my late 40s. And so I don't have the sensitivity in my fingers.
Chris, first off, that's not an older person.
That's what I'm thinking too.
But I mean, if I had learned it, say, at 8 or 10 or 12.
Sure.
As you get older, things like that are a little harder to learn. That's all.
We're going to let you slide on that one.
But again, I don't have the tactile sensation in my fingers to sit there and read everything. So, but I wanted to learn basic stuff. So, okay, get off of an elevator or in a building like a hospital that I could identify room numbers. Different things like that you take for granted.
Right, because most buildings do. I don't know if all buildings, if it's a law perhaps, but I know most buildings I see what clearly seems to be a little Braille thing up there so that, okay.
Or the biggest one, which bathroom to go into.
Ah, yes, of course. Yeah,
those
that
are
is
important.
An important one.
That's an important one.
See, it's amazing when you start thinking about all the various things.
Well, that's it. And I mean, and like I said, I didn't know that there were different software applications out there that would help me be able to use a computer again.
Well, and that's a good point too. And I definitely wanted to bring that up because from what I saw in looking, online and at some of the materials for the center, you guys firmly embrace technology as offering a lot of great capabilities for blind and vision impaired.
Well, and that's the thing is, you look at smartphones. A lot of modern smartphones have a lot of accessibility built into them as far as magnifiers. So, like, instead of having to carry a magnifying glass, I can use the camera on my phone. They actually have voiceover. So I could actually have my phone read my text to me.
Right, okay, good.
Good. A lot of them have where you can adjust the text size. So for somebody like myself that has vision loss, I can still see the text.
Okay, wow.
One of the issues I have is because of the disease I have, white paper with black writing on it is very hard for me to read. I can invert colors. So now I have a black screen with white writing. So it's not as much glare on it.
I see.
So, I mean, there's just different techniques that you learn. And that's the thing. You have to be able to adapt and keep on going. The biggest issue I see is you have a lot of people that when they start losing their eyesight, they become very much an introvert. And it's, and I understand that. I went through a little bit of that to begin with, but it's like, I'm one of those people that, if I can keep doing, I'm going to keep doing because I don't want to sit in my house and just do nothing. That was why I'm very active in the community. I'm actually in the Coast Guard Auxiliary. Now, there are certain things that in that organization that I can't do. I'm not going to be on a boat underneath helping with helicopters and stuff. But there are different things I can do. I'm actually a telecommunications operator. So I have VHF radio capabilities that I can help with because that's things that I can do. And so I try to be very active in the things that I can do.
Good. Yeah, because I could see where it could be very isolating if you let it.
Yeah.
Very much so. Very much so.
Wayne, I'd love for you to come out to the center, sometime, just so that I can give you a tour of the
I'd love
center, and maybe you can experience some of the things that we have going on under Sleep Shade.
I would love to do that. I should, and actually, I will tell you that my older brother has a low vision situation from glaucoma, so I'm a little bit familiar with it in that aspect of dealing with him. But yeah, absolutely, I would love to do that.
Yeah.
So tell us now, the center is where?
It's 1141 Cornell Street, or Cornell Avenue. It's the same street that BC is on. Seawright Drive and Cornell kind of go between Waters and Eisenhower.
Right.
We were downtown at 214 Drayton, and we purchased a facility out there and renovated, did a full renovation. So the center it basically looks like a house,
Right.
which for our students it makes more sense because they're training for independence.
Yeah, because your first office was just an office kind of scenario, so now you're
Right.
in a home environment where really much more applicable to
Their
people's
everyday living.
to their everyday living.
Yeah. And so when you come into our facility, you'll see that there's a kitchen that's set up. It's a training kitchen where our students will learn, how to work the microwave or how to properly cut, and so that they're not cutting their fingers and stuff like that. And then they teach all type of home living type situations, such as folding clothes and ironing and just
and moving around.
just stuff
I
that
guess,
we who have sight, we just take advantage of every day.
Yeah.
We just
And take it for granted.
take it for granted. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Well, no, and advantage too. I mean, we take advantage but we take it for granted too. And boy.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why there was a fundraiser they had. What was it, in January? That was the Dining in the Dark.
Yeah, dining in the dark.
Which I
I
think
mentioned that on the show, and that sounded like such a fascinating thing.
It was fabulous.
And it was interesting because I was actually there. Well, I was at a table with a group of people, and it was interesting to me because, okay, I didn't have an issue finding my food or finding my drink, and somebody at my table spilled a drink, and I could immediately tell that they spilled it just from the smell.
Yeah.
And I mentioned that, and somebody goes, "What did you say?" And the guy next to me goes, "Oh, never mind. I smell it now. I get what you're saying." And it's just you pick up different things like that, and you don't realize how much you rely on your sight for your other senses.
Sure.
And that was one reason we did that event, and we're going to do it again. It's scheduled for January 20th in 2018.
Okay.
Was not only for a fundraiser, to bring money into the center, but just for the awareness, because so many people just really don't understand.
Well, I think that's a great idea, because you really to have something experiential, because we can talk about it, and that's good, and you
Sure.
can those with vision can read about it, and there's plenty of information out there. The website is
www.savannahcblv.org.
okay. So CBLV, Center for Blind and Low Vision. Yeah. So there's a lot of good information out there, obviously, but nothing brings it home like really experiencing that
Right.
yourself to the degree that you can. I hope that raised a lot of money for you. I don't know. I hope
It did
was,
really well. I just hope that we can double it next year.
Well, yeah.
It's
And-
it's kind of a signature event for us, because who better to put some type of event on like that than people who live that every day.
Oh, sure.
So-
Absolutely. And I hope that I will make a good effort to remember to invite you back just before that.
Oh, that'd be great.
To promote that, because that's certainly the organization is certainly a worthwhile service here in the community, and we would be quite happy to have you back to talk about that at that time. Is that the big fundraiser of the year, or do you have others?
We do have others. Matter of fact, my springtime schedule is quite hectic, and I do it to myself, every year. We just learned that there's so many events that go on in the fall that springtime seems to be a better time to put events on. So
Okay.
April the 8th, starting at noon, we've got the Hodges Hunter Wilkes trial lawyers of Oliver Maynard who are presenting the sporting clay. That's going to be out at Dorchester Shooting Preserve.
Okay.
It's $900 a team for four shooters, 100 clays, lunch, and then there'll be a whiskey tasting with awards and stuff afterwards.
And
okay. Then
that sounds interesting.
April 21st, we have our Vision Quest luncheon coming up, and that is it's a free luncheon. It's at the Savannah Center, and excuse me, we invite people in to come and learn more about the organization, the successes that we have. They'll get a chance to hear our students talk.
Okay.
This year our speaker is the mayor.
Oh.
Mayor Deloach. So
good. Can't go wrong there.
I don't think so. And then May the 15th, we have the GAIT 4 Vision Golf Tournament. That's going to be at Savannah Quarters.
Okay.
Country Club.
Well,
so
golf is always a good one.
Yeah, that's $600 a team, and this is our first year of having it at that location. But we've been out there, and the establishment is beautiful. The course is just beautiful. So we're excited about that.
Excellent.
August 26th, Savannah Vision Conference. It's a tech conference that we offer to vision techs of doctors so that they can come and get their accreditation hours.
Okay.
We do that. It's a one day event, and we do that just so that we can kind of give back to the doctors who refer the students to us.
Okay.
November the 4th, we have the Rock and Roll Marathon. We always put together a team for the Rock and Roll Marathon.
Well, I'm all for rock and roll. So that's,
yes, you are.
And I'm all for helping the blind and low vision. So that's a good combo right there.
It is a great combination. So we'll be building our team, once again. We've done that for probably the last 3 to 4 years.
Now, for a minute, go back to the one with the mayor. What is that, and when is that again?
Okay, that's the Vision Quest luncheon. And what we do is we have table hosts that put together tables of 10 people. And if you want to be a table host, I can put you down. I know the right people. And then you can invite all your friends. And it's just a luncheon where everything is set on the table. It lasts 55 minutes from start to finish. We don't go over not 1 second. And just the opportunity for us to kind of brag a little bit about the center and what the difference we're making for the community. Okay.
Good. All right. And so you have the website, of course, a phone number for us.
912-236-4473.
Okay. We got plenty of time left. I just want to get these things out there so that people know about it from in case they tune in, and I can't imagine that they would tune out.
I hope they don't tune out.
No, that would absolutely not even couldn't possibly happen. But just in case they have to be at work or something that is absolutely necessary, because that's the only reason they would ever tune out of Savannah Lexicon, and certainly this particular show. But I do want to get it out there so that some people can hear it and make sure they hear it, and we will actually repeat it at the end just in case, because we certainly want everybody to know how to get in touch with you. Obviously, if you just Google it online, you'll come up with it. So it's not rocket science, but still, we like to make it as simple as we can. Now, you guys with the center, of course, you do deal with people of all ages, right? You deal with very, very young children who are born perhaps with vision problems, and right up through older adults who have maybe not blindness but low vision problems. So that must be a challenge. Do you have many people coming in as very young people that you're dealing with?
The young that we have right now, currently with the center, I think the youngest client that comes to our facility is 18.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's 18.
Okay.
And then the children primarily, our therapists will go to the schools.
Okay.
Or if the child is in like a homeschool program,
right?
They'll go to the home. We do have a 2-week camp in the summertime. For students, for the youth,
Okay.
where they do come to the center. But it's a little bit hard during the school year because, they're at school.
Sure.
So-
But I mean, the center is involved with them, whether it's
absolutely.
with younger people, whether it's at the center or not.
Right.
But
I mean, we go.
You certainly get involved with those.
Yeah, we
that-
go from
that age
ages
group.
3 all the way to
Yeah.
103.
Yeah,
If, or-
I guess, and that's a different kind of challenge in a way from dealing with a full-grown adult, and it probably, I guess, in one sense, if a person is born with the issue, then it's all they know.
right.
So in one sense, perhaps it might be, well, quote unquote, easier to work with them, and but on the other hand, they're obviously as young as they are. That creates difficulties in and of itself, and I'm sure it's very difficult for the parents.
Yeah. Well, it's an emotional time for everybody. Whether if they're born with it, you're right. It would seem that it would be easier because that's all they've ever known.
Right.
And then just suddenly losing their vision, or would definitely offer a challenge. And that's what the center is so great at. Not only do we offer the support for the child, but also the parents to help guide them on things that they can
Right.
do, and continue the education that our therapists are teaching them, so that the parents know better what to do.
Yeah, and I guess with the young folks, that's even more crucial with the parents there. I mean, with a full-grown adult, obviously you're dealing with someone who's
Well-
self-sufficient unto themselves.
Well, but like I said, I also think maybe with a younger age, you're not having to break as many bad habits, or
Right.
you're not,
Well, that's what I meant by quote unquote easier.
Yeah.
Is that there's no sort of untraining to do,
yeah.
if you will. Yeah, that's a good
Well,
point.
that's it, because having had this in later in life vision loss, and mine deteriorated over time. I was diagnosed in 2009. I kept working up until 14 because I
wow.
had the attitude of, hey, as long as I can see to get to work and do my job, I'm going to keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a big change. And there are things that, okay, hey, I know I can do this. And no, you can't, because you don't see to do that as well as you used to. You can't just walk across the street when, oh, it's clear. No, you have to listen.
That's tricky for anybody.
Yeah.
And certainly with
But you learn to
diminished
adapt.
vision,
You learn to go with, opposing traffic so that you have a clear lane. You listen, and there's different things. I mean, it's just different techniques that you learn. And that's the thing. You have to adapt.
Yeah. And I guess, as you say, as you're indicating, a lot of it is learning to use your other senses
Most definitely.
better and more frequently, and not, because most of us, excuse me, of course, sight is the sort of predominant sense.
Exactly.
I mean, you have your other senses and you're aware of them and use them in certain ways, but boy, we're very sight oriented. So
Exactly.
yeah.
That was why I liked the Dining in the Dark event, because again, it gave me a little more of an advantage, because okay, I know how to find my plate, I know how to find my fork, I could find the food, and I was used to that. Like, okay, I can pour something into a glass because I know how to do it. Where, okay, you have somebody pouring something into a glass and spills it because they were never trained to do that. And so it's a new experience, and that's the nice equalizer. It gives them that opportunity to experience that for even just a little bit.
Yeah.
Like the sleep shades, that gives you an opportunity to experience it, even though it's, you can take them off and go back to your sight. It still gives you that opportunity to experience life in other people's shoes for just a little bit.
Yeah. Good point. And again, having done something like that, it just makes so much more of an impact. It makes it so much more meaningful when you really, because you can imagine it. We can sort of imagine, of course, but still, that pales in comparison to actually doing something like the event that you guys had, where you really, literally to the extent possible, are really living in that mode. Okay, I'll tell you what, we are going to take a short, brief musical interlude here. We are happy to have Leslie Etherly, Director of Development for Savannah Center for Blind and Low Vision, and Chris Poulos. Sorry.
That's okay.
A graduate of the Savannah Center for Blind and Low Vision's program. We're going to be right back with them, and this is a fascinating discussion about a very serious issue and problem, and a very, very good organization here in town to deal with it. So hang on, Savannah Lexicon will be right back.
This is WRUU-LP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings Community Radio with Global Soul.
I want to let you know that as a business, you enjoy our programming on WRUU-LP, and please support the station with a donation. Let your customers, neighbors, and friends know that you share our vision of building a thriving community based on diverse, vibrant radio programming. As a business partner, our listeners will know you support Savannah's only broad-based community radio station. You can become a tower sponsor or underwriter. To check out the levels of corporate sponsorship and to donate, go to www.wruu.org/corporate. Again, to check out the levels of corporate sponsorship and to donate, go to www.wruu.org/corporate. Thanks for listening to and supporting WRUULP. Also, we want to let you know that the Dolphin Project needs boat owners, photographers, and other volunteers to help with scientific research on the Atlantic bottlenose dolphin along coastal Georgia. Volunteers must be 18 or older. More information is available by calling 912-232-6572. All right, we are back now and continue to speak with Leslie Etherly. Etherly?
It's Etherly, but it's
Etherly.
Either way, it's okay.
Boy, okay, I'm missing on the names this morning badly. Leslie Etherly, Director of Development, Savannah Center for Blind and Low Vision, and Chris Poulos. I got it, y'all. I'm getting the thumbs up from Chris. I got it right. A graduate of the center's programs. And I just wanted to speak a minute, Leslie. You were telling me a little bit about how how you got this job, and it's interesting. You were in Tennessee, and you visited the beach here, Tybee. On I think was that like a regular kind of deal?
That was a regular vacation every summer. Just come down
and you're on vacation, and you're laying in the sun, and you're digging the surf and the sand and the whole thing, and what?
It's just interesting. I look at life as one of those things where all things happen for a reason. And everybody has a path that they're supposed to be on. My career has always been in public relations. With State Farm, I was with them for 18 and a half years, and then worked for the state 3.5 years. And so I came down on vacation in 2014, and hadn't been here but maybe an hour, and I met these people on the beach. And so we got to talking about, Savannah and the surrounding area, and I was like, this is just a great place, and I could live here. And so we went from, that conversation to them telling me about, this place that was in need of someone to help them out with their public relations. So I made a phone call to the director at the center and did my interview actually there on the beach in the lounge chair.
Wow.
And so she wanted me to come into the center so that we could actually have the interview and talk.
A real interview.
Face-to-face. So I went in, and she hired me on the spot. And so I finished out my vacation and went back home and started the transition to move to Savannah, which I did a month and a half later.
Leslie, boy, you must have been very impressive in that interview.
I just think timing is everything in life, and you just there are certain things that are meant to happen, and I believe that my next step was to help the center become what it is today and more.
Nice.
And I'm
nice.
just one voice for the center. We have a great executive director, Louis Medell. We have great staff of 8. So I don't do it alone, but I'd like to believe that, we've all been brought together to make this vision come true for the center.
Nice. Well, that certainly worked well for you, and brought a new mission, in a sense, into your life.
My dad was not happy. I have to say, my dad wouldn't speak to me for 3 months.
Really?
I'm the youngest girl of the family. I have a family of 5. And when I moved, my dad just He just couldn't. I'm the first child to ever leave the nest.
Really? Wow. The youngest, but the first to leave the
Right.
to
Everybody
leave
else.
the area.
Everybody else
is
still there.
is sticking around in
Yeah,
Middle
so
Tennessee.
It
Okay.
definitely upset the apple cart.
Well, nothing wrong with that, but we're glad you came.
Yeah, I am too. It's
Chris,
a wonderful
would you
place.
say you're glad?
Most definitely.
Okay.
Most definitely.
All right. Well, good. All right. Well, that's an interesting one. I've never heard quite a job, snare like that before, but that is great. And you've found your new position here in Savannah. Well, you've been here about 3 years, right?
Yeah, it'll be 3 years in August. It's
So
gone fast.
That's great. Well, and you were talking, Chris, we wanted to get back. You were mentioning a little bit about how people can fall into a sense of isolation if they lose their vision, or not born with the issue perhaps and lose their vision. What about that? I mean, first off, is there a tendency, I would just wonder first, do you tend to hang out mostly with other people with vision problems or not necessarily?
Not necessarily. I mean, now the center does have a great peer support group that I can sit and go talk with people that have the same type of vision loss or more serious vision loss.
Okay, that's good to know.
And we can talk about different things and struggles in life, and some of it may be, well, I had, this issue getting here or this issue doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good because then we learn from each other. But I don't limit myself to that.
Good.
Like I said, I'm very active in my community. I actually just started getting back to work part-time. I actually work up at the snack bar at the courthouse.
Is that right?
Yeah. So I
for
work
you.
a couple of days a week, and it gets me out of the house. It gets me working with other people in a job that I can do because the lady that has the contract is also visually impaired. So they have, adaptive technologies to help.
Okay.
And
All
so,
right.
I mean, I'm, like I said, I'm very active in my community. I'm a member of the Coast Guard Auxiliary. I'm a member of the Parade Committee. I've grown up in Savannah.
Yeah.
I am very much a Savannah native.
Yeah.
And so, I don't limit myself to that. But a lot of people, like I said, when they do start having vision issues or vision loss, they do go into a funk, and it can turn into a spiral to where they don't want to leave their house or
Right.
they don't want to do things.
Right.
And like I said, I guess I had the attitude that I wasn't going to let this get me down. I'm the type of person that when life hands you lemons, make a cocktail out of it. Keep on going.
There you go. I like that. Not even just lemonade, but a cocktail.
That's definitely
even
Savannah.
better.
Yeah, I mean, but other people don't have that attitude. And I think that's where a peer support group helps, is because then you can sit and go, look, you don't have to sit in your house. There are things that you can do. There's still life left in you.
Oh, yeah. Sure there is, man. Sure.
I mean,
Well, Leslie, I'm sure that's something that you guys are aware of, and obviously you've created the peer support network, as it were, and so give us a little bit of your perspective on that. Is that something that you come across and have to kind of deal with at the center?
As far as peer support?
Well, as far as peer support and as far as, just people having this sort of phenomenon and wanting to retreat and isolate and perhaps depression, is this something that...
It really is. It's wonderful. It's so rewarding. Let me say, it's so rewarding to work there because I don't deal with the clients on a day-to-day basis like our therapists do.
Right, sure.
But I
sure.
try really hard to meet each one, have that time with them, and just to try to learn more about what experiences they've had, and a little bit of background with them. One of the things is, it's a very, very emotional time when they come in, but the most rewarding thing about what we do is being able to see folks like Chris at the end, because you see how emotional things are, their life is, and you talk about that down spiral of, I can remember one client that we had, she never left her house. She lived on Tybee, she never left her house, and her husband had found out about the center, got her into the center, and once she started, she blossomed like a flower.
Oh, great.
She was all over the island. He couldn't keep her home at that point. So
That's good.
you see them we see them whenever they come in, and they're at that point where they're ready to give up.
Yeah.
And the majority are like that.
Yeah. It's got to be a tough thing to deal with, for sure.
It really is. But we have a great staff that knows how to handle that. And by the time they're done with their 4 to 9 months at the center, the change in the individual is just amazing.
And so that's what it normally is, 4 to 9 months, and just depends on the situation and the individual, and what the situation is.
And it also depends on how hard somebody wants to work and do stuff. Like, okay, yeah, you can come into the center and you can practice, but if you don't do it outside of the center and try to work with it, then yeah, it's going to take longer.
Yeah.
It's all about self-motivation.
Yeah, sure. And that's the thing that can be tough if you are feeling, kind of depressed and all of that, and the self-motivation is kind of hard to come by. But
that's really important too. I mean, as far as the family, that the family is part of that. Once they leave our facility, like you said, if they don't continue that work, it's not going to do the training is not going to do them any good.
Oh yeah.
So they need the self motivation and the family motivation from their families.
Yeah. I'm sure the family connection, particularly with the younger people, but really anybody and everybody.
Yeah.
But it's got to be really important.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and like with me, I get told all the time, you don't look like you're blind. And it's like, I guess that's a compliment. I mean, but it's like, you want to go, well, exactly what does blind look like?
Yeah, that's good. That's right.
But again, I guess I don't let it get me down. I mean, like, I walked the whole parade this past Friday.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh,
I have
good.
a group I walk with. My grandfather was a Grand Marshal of the parade.
Wow.
And he actually passed away on St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, wow.
So I walk in the parade every year, or try to, either walk or ride with family that are past Grand Marshals. So, I mean, like I said, I try to stay very positive and very motivated and get out there, because if people can see somebody like myself, okay, I walked the parade with my guide king, they can see that, okay, yeah, you can do anything if you set your mind to it.
One thing I want to add is we also do a job readiness program at the center. So once our students complete their training, we have a counselor there at the center who works with them to find placement back in the community.
Good.
I mean, we're teaching them independence. We're teaching them how to get back to a normal life. And so we feel like it's kind of like a full circle.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, because that's one of the nice things. Like I said, I still felt that I could be a productive member of society. And now that I'm back working a little bit, I feel I am really more of a productive member of society.
Yeah. And there are things you can do.
That's it.
There definitely are things you can do. And as you indicated, apparently, if I understood correctly, they even have some of the technology at this particular place. And I guess there are certain people and job scenarios out there who have, can use certain technology to help out people in your
and that's
in your
the
situation.
nice thing is that there's also programs to where, like the computer software that I've got, if there was a job that I could do that I needed that, the state will also try to help out and do some placement with stuff like that, as far as getting making some of that software available and helping out with that.
Yeah.
Because
going to ask you that.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the thing,
Because the state has to attempt to get you what you need. Anyone with any kind of disability,
exactly.
if they're capable of doing the job with some assistance of technology or other sorts of elements, then the state is going to provide that.
Oh, yeah. And like I said, that was my whole motivation, was I felt I was too young just to sit at home and do nothing. I was always too much of a vibrant person to ever try to do that. And it was just I had to find a way to get the training that I needed. And luckily enough, I talked to my doctor, got a referral to the center because I'd heard about the good work that they had done, and I wanted to get that training. Like I said, unfortunately, you do have some people that they just don't want that, and that's the sad part is because they do still have a lot, like I said, a lot of life left in them, and there are a lot of things that they can do.
Well, they need to have a discussion with you and both of you for that matter, but certainly Chris, with your firsthand experience, they need to be talking to you, and they probably can at the peer support group. So for those kinds of people, I would think that support group is just a crucial part of this because I'm sure you gotta want to talk about this.
Well, you do,
and you want to hear from people like you who come out the other end.
Well, I mean, like I said, I guess I'm lucky. I've always had that attitude that, hey, I woke up this morning, it's a good day.
You got that right. That's right. If you're waking up,
and
life is good.
That's it. That's it. So, I mean, you just have to make the most of it.
This, and I'm fascinated by the computer stuff as well. That there are all sorts of things. There are well, first off, you can have a computer and the software that literally reads things out, can't you?
Exactly. The software I've got is a software called Magic, and what it does, it offers the reading capability along with the magnification capability.
Nice.
Because again, since I'm still low vision, I do still have some vision left. It gives me that opportunity that I can magnify something to where I can still see it, but it also will read and talk to me. And the nice thing about it, it also inverts colors so that I can actually see it.
That's an interesting thing, yeah. So the black on white doesn't do well?
Actually, no.
Okay.
But white on black helps because you don't have the glare.
Okay.
It does that. There's just different things that you can do. I mean, along with the magnification and the speech, you learn different techniques. I will admit, I never learned to type. And so I always hunted and pecked. Well, when you can see, you can hunt and peck. You can see the keys.
Right.
What was one of the things I had to learn okay, where your placement of your keys are. And then, again, with tactile devices like bump dots, then I had finger placement. So I knew where certain keys were. And learning that,
Wow, yeah, so if you don't know how to type, you better learn.
That's it.
And it's really interesting because if you go into our
technology,
our computer lab there at the center, there are no mouse pads, nothing.
Right.
It's all done with function keys. They learn
shortcuts,
from keyboard only.
Right.
And so for me who's sighted, who's always with my computer, I've used a mouse and that kind of thing.
Right.
It's a huge challenge for me. You might as well.
I was going to say I never did learn the shortcut stuff either.
No.
I never did learn that, and so you would definitely need that to use that kind of thing if you have vision problems.
And that's the thing. That were some of the things that I had to learn. And that's, I mean, I appreciate that, and that's the thing. It's you learn that and you can use it because again, I thought, well, I won't be able to ever use a computer again.
Surprise, surprise.
That's it.
Well, and I guess really, obviously it's a learning procedure for everybody, and one would think and hope that even just the process of learning kind of helps pull some people out of maybe a depression or heading down in that direction a little bit, because if you're learning something, it's life affirming.
That's it, and that's the good thing. Again, you're learning stuff. You have other people that you can sit there and talk to on your peer support group days, and it helps make things go a lot smoother in that transition.
It's that confidence, taking that confidence and building up back to your independent life,
Sure,
being able to live.
Yeah.
Do you do books on tape or books on disc or books on whatever?
I do that. They actually go through the Georgia Library for accessibility, and I can order them. And actually, what it is, it's almost like a flash drive that they send you, and they actually send you the reader that the flash drive plugs into.
Okay. Well, I mean, so it's the same concept, more or
Yeah.
less, but just a
Yeah.
different delivery. Okay.
It is, and I mean, I do that now. Again, I have an iPad, so with the colors inverted and magnified. Now, I try not to read too much because it does tend to give me eye strain after a while. Because I do have to.
Oh, okay. I see. I'm sorry. Oh, it gives you eye strain. Go ahead.
Well, I have to wear high-powered magnifiers. When I
Okay,
go
so
to
you're
read.
literally reading.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can,
okay.
Like
okay.
I said, I still do
so
have
you
some
can
vision,
still do that if
but,
you have
But I have
right.
like my readers run from a +4 to +6, and so with the magnification on that plus the readers, I can still read,
Okay.
and I enjoyed reading,
Yeah.
and so that's why I try to still do that. But where I used to sit and read for hours and hours and
Right.
hours at a time,
Right.
I can't do that because I do know my limitations. Otherwise, I will have massive headaches because of the eye strain.
Well, okay. And then, of course, for those who are literally blind, there is
Well,
recorded
do you have that? You also
books.
have books with Braille.
in Braille. Right.
You know, and
Okay.
so you do have a lot of people. One of my instructors was blind, and she could read Braille faster than most people can read a regular book.
And write it.
And that's and that's the thing is, you just have to learn to adapt to your situation.
There are tools out there of
Most
all
definitely.
sorts, and there are fellow human beings who have the same issues you have to talk to and to commiserate with and to plan and learn some things.
Well, not only commiserate, but you also get your positive days.
Sure.
You know, so you want to share not the bad, only the bad stuff, but the good stuff. That different achievements that you were able to do. You know, like with me, if you'd have told me 5 years ago that okay, I'm going to drop you off, and you're going to go meet your people for your parade, and then go walk a parade, and then walk back to where you left them in the situation that I'm in, I'd have told you were crazy. But I did it.
You did. Good for you. Good for both of you. Good for Savannah Center for the Blind and Low Vision. Good for everybody who needs y'all's services because you're here. And we're going to, I'll circle around just a minute, but we're going to kind of begin to wrap it up here if you guys will just hang tight with us for just a minute. I want to let everybody know, remind everybody that there is a new schedule for Savannah Lexicon. Rather than the one show a week, 9 to 10, there are now 2 shows, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 to 9. Also want to make sure you're aware of the new rendition of Savannah Rising, which I am also doing while I wrestle with learning the technology. Speaking of, learning new technology and things like that, I am going through that myself as I try and learn how to operate the board here at the radio station. But whether I have any struggles with that or not, you're still going to get some very good Americana music from 7 to 8 on Tuesdays and Thursdays with Savannah Rising and, again, Savannah Lexicon. Now, let's see. Trying to think. We'll be back for Savannah Lexicon, of course, next week. And if I can just possibly get my mind straight as to remembering who it is that my guest next week is going to be. It's going to be somebody good. I promise you that. It's going to be somebody good. Let me think about it. Who will it be? Who will it be? Next week is going to be... Hold on for it. I know you're out there just dying to find out. That's right. It's going to be, how could I forget? Goodwill of Southeast Georgia. We're going to have Michael Winkler, the president CEO, and Cynthia Barnes, the Vice President of Community Engagement of Goodwill Southeast Georgia, which is another very good organization here in town. In following weeks, I've got on 328, I've got the Reverend David Messner from the Unitarian Universalist Church, but we're going to have to pass out. Thanks again so much, you guys, for coming in today. We do appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank you
Thank
for
you for
having us.
inviting us.
Next week, same time, same place, Savannah Lexicon. Everybody have yourself a good day.
This is WRUU-LP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings Community Radio with Global Soul.